All right, on to ballistic high speed. My RPG-7 exploded on me in slow motion. I've seen Scott's 50 cal explosion. This is going to be painful.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Come on, video containing shocking graphic footage is being shown for medical and educational purposes only. Viewer discretion is heavily advised. I probably should have had
If you
someone
didn't read
review
that
this
warning,
first.
again, let me reiterate, do not watch this video if you are faint of heart. This video does contain some shocking footage. It's potentially triggering to PTSD victims. This is for medical, educational purposes only. We would never glorify this for any reason. This is a pretty unfortunate accident, but we are ready to go over the footage together and see what we can learn from it, talk about safety, talk about our plans for the future. And there is a chance that some of this is still going to be censored. We're not sure at the time of recording how much will be censored, but we want to keep our channel. And if we put up too much graphic content, there's a chance the entire channel gets demonetized. And because of that, if you do see some censored content, that's why the entire unedited, uncensored footage will be available on Patreon if that's the case. That's pretty much the only way we can do this while still keeping our channel. So our link to...
Okay, does everyone think we should keep going with this? I am fine with watching this. If we don't watch it on stream, I will watch it myself. I am suddenly a little nervous about dropping this on viewers. We're gonna take a start, and I will be more ready to chicken out than normal if it looks like it's gonna get really bad and I don't want to drop it on people.
Patreon will be in the description below, and you can go watch it there. But again, do not watch it if you can't handle this, because it is very shocking. He's okay with showing the footage that's here. He wants to watch it. He wants to show you guys so we can learn from it. So Adam is back and thankfully recovering.
I have returned indeed.
He has. You said one like, and I'll come back, and here you are.
Yes, I did get at least one. It might have been me. I'm not sure.
How would you say you're doing now?
A lot better. Still takes a lot of wound care. I don't think I'm out of the woods on that yet. Probably still got a solid few months on that. The nerve stuff, never know. We'll get into that later.
Those are some bandages.
People have seen the footage, but it's been blurred.
Right.
We've done some updates on the hospital and everything, but before we watch it, if you don't know what's going on right now, stop watching this. Our last video has all of the context. We were firing different launchers. We had a Carl Gustav M2 launcher and the RPG-7.
Yep.
And we had a catastrophic failure during launching basically the final shot of the day.
Of course.
So yeah, if you don't know...
Should we go back and watch that one instead? Since they're saying to go back and watch the video with context. Let's see. Rocket launchers and the danger of backblast. Context is good. We will pick the context option. True. The more we watch, the less things I have to do. All right. So this is the video immediately before that one. So we're gonna watch this one first because they're saying to watch this for context. Like I said, literally the first time I've ever actually watched the content that wasn't the Brandon Herrera collabs. So let's see what's going on.
This is an RPG-7.
And this is a Carl Gustav M2.
These are rocket launchers, and they fire high explosive rockets.
Recoilless rifle.
Well, this one's not. This one's inert so that we can safely handle it for demonstration purposes, but we are firing precision machined, metal-bodied, high-explosive RPG rounds.
The real deal.
The real deal.
Yep, we're going to be looking at the entire launch procedure, how that works. We're going to look at the backblast. I hear that's pretty darn dangerous.
It is indeed.
Just the overall experience of firing a real rocket launcher, you know, before we get into blowing stuff up.
Naturally.
So, welcome back to Ballistic High Speed.
Well, today on Ballistic High Speed, we will be bringing to you the Carl Gustaf M2 in beautiful slow motion activity. This was brought out by the gentleman to my right. This is Todd Kern. Todd, what's going on here?
I'm Todd with PA2A. Today we have the Carl Gustaf M2 recoilless rifle. What makes this thing pretty cool is this is a breech loading rifle. It takes an 84 millimeter cartridge. We have some prototype rounds with us today. Eventually we're going to have some legitimate high explosive rounds available for this thing. What differentiates this from something like a more well-known launcher like the RPG-7 or the M72 Law is that this is a recoilless rifle and not a rocket launcher. Recoilless rifle meaning propellant is behind the projectile, not inside of it like in the PG-7 rockets or the M72 Law rounds.
That seemed like a pretty painless load there. That was the whole load.
That was the whole thing, yep.
And before everybody freaks out, we are going to have high explosive RPGs next. Well, Todd?
Okay, so he didn't quite explain all about recoilless rifle. It still fires like a bullet or a big artillery shell, but it also blasts to the side and backwards, which is why it still has the rocket launcher like tube setup, so that some of the explosion propelling it forward is also going backward in order to balance out the recoil, which is why they're referred to as recoilless rifles. RPG-7 is also not a rocket, but a recoilless rifle. I know there are models in the family like that. I cannot remember. You might be right. I think the 7 might also technically be a rifle.
Thanks for coming out. Let's load up some rounds and let's see what this looks like in high speed.
Let's do it.
All right, Todd, load it up.
Backblast clear.
Backblast is clear. Firing the Carl Gustaf in 3, 2, 1. Whoa! That little delay threw me off.
See, it's like firing a bolt. I was wondering about that. These prototype rounds are not standard vented casing and do create some recoil. Okay.
Alrighty, we're gonna do this RPG-7. We have, while it is an all metal, this one is inert, but have no fear, high explosive rockets are coming soon. All right, Todd.
Okay, so we gotta watch to see what the difference is, if this really is a recoilless rifle or a rocket, because I do not remember. If it is a recoilless rifle, like the last one, it's an explosion and it takes off. If it's a rocket, then it takes off and it continues burning to propel it.
Load me up.
Backblast clear.
Backblast is clear. All right, firing the RPG-7. 3, 2, 1. Woo!
Okay, yeah, that is in fact a recoilless rifle.
Holy smokes! I mean, that's a huge boom, but I felt almost nothing.
That's recoilless for you.
up to is correct. I could not remember. I can't help but analyze. I'm wondering if this is signs of what's to come. How it's leaking here. And that's that real grim analysis.
Wow. That's intense.
First time you ever done that?
Yeah. You got to shoot this.
I get to shoot it?
You got to shoot this.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Backblast clear.
Ready on high speed?
High speed's ready.
Yeah. Firing the RPG-7 in 3, 2, 1. Hell yeah.
Woo! Triggered.
Yeah, that's already making me nervous. And I don't know what that debris is that came out, if that's supposed to or not.
All right, so Todd is actually the one developing all of these kind of prototype rounds that are gonna move into high explosive. He can't wait to shoot it. He was nice enough to let me take the first shot. I believe I'm the first like civilian to shoot one.
To my knowledge.
Okay, appreciate that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have him kneel down and we're gonna see what backblast would do if somebody accidentally had their hand over the backblast area. We know
Hello
it's
and
dangerous,
welcome.
we just saw it go, but what does it look like on an analog? So Todd's gonna do the honors so he gets to shoot it and we get our answers because we like science.
High speed ready.
Go.
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Where did the hand go? Here, look, the hand is gone.
I've
Oh, that
seen
was
some
so
backblast
good.
stuff
Where did
before.
It go?
I saw something go whipping
yeah.
down. It's right here. That was so damn funny.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Damn.
Total separate. I mean it's gotta be like 3rd degree burns, right?
Fingers coming out of the skin.
Yeah.
It's almost degloved.
That's nuts. And I think it stands to reason that if you, as a human, had your hand there, it wouldn't just leave so easily. So it may even be worse because it would have to push more out of the way.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's gonna be hopefully some wicked high speed. I wonder if we'll even see it through the smoke.
I don't know. But thanks to Ballistic Dummy Lab.
Yeah.
It's always way better when you can actually see
Absolutely.
what's going on.
I am not going to get into it, but I've actually seen a battlefield footage of someone running behind an RPG-7. I think it was a 7. One of those type models as it was fired. It wasn't good quality, but it was enough.
Okay, I think we all saw this one coming. We've seen the Carl Gustav backblast, so now we're gonna do the RPG-7, and instead of a hand, we have a head. I do wanna notate, he does have one cut because he's been used once already. Other than that, he's good to go, no crack skull.
My guess is we're not even gonna notice.
Probably not. All right, Todd.
All right.
Next clip contains blurred footage of a misfire accident. Some audio remains. Viewer discretion is advised. We're getting through the video very quickly. I figured it was coming soon. So here we go.
Cameras are rolling. On you.
All right, this is the RPG-7 versus Ballistic dummy head. 3, 2, 1.
Call 911. Call 911. What's bleeding?
His face.
On November 14th at 3 p.m., Adam experienced a catastrophic failure during an RPG launch, and that hospitalized him. It was pretty bad. He is okay. He is recovering right now as I'm speaking to you. It's probably going to be a very long recovery. I wanted to reach out to you guys with his permission, of course, to let you all know that this has happened, but life and limb is intact, and that's the important part. Hopefully all of you will keep him in your thoughts, and he's expected to make a full recovery. It's just going to be a long recovery. In short, he had third-degree burns, broken bones, lacerations on his face and other areas, and yeah, later discussion for a later time. As far as I can tell, Adam does want to come back on the channel. He wants the channel to continue, and we will likely talk with all of you about the entire thing, what happened, why it may have happened, what can we learn from it. It's just one of those things where no matter how much you pay attention to safety, how much effort you put into preparing things, there's always the inherent risk of something going wrong, and that was one of those times. Adam's been made fun of before for how much he pays attention to safety on other videos, and so I've never questioned him on that. I've always respected his effort in paying attention to safety, and he's always been willing to take that risk on this channel. Anytime he's ever fired a gun, anytime he's ever worked with explosives, he's always been willing to take that risk alongside me to bring you guys this channel, bring you guys content, and I respect him immensely for that. So yeah, it was not good. So if you guys could please have a sensitive, thoughtful mindset about this. If you want to leave him comments down below, at some point he's going to read them, so please leave him positive thoughts and inspirational messages if you'd like, and he'll read them, and I'm sure he'll appreciate them. But he will, as far as I can tell, he wants to come back and talk with all of you about what happened. So just know that he is okay, he is recovering. Nobody's at fault for this. There is no negligence involved on any part of this. Adam's always made sure that things are as safe as they possibly can be, and it was just one of the factors outside of our control. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
All right, are we brave enough to do this on stream for the next one then? Yeah, that's not going to be pretty. Like I said, I've seen a little bit of this stuff before, so I kind of, go for it. All right, unless we have any objections, we're gonna restart this video and we are gonna watch it. Looking around at all the different chat windows I have. No?
All right, are you sure you're ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
If you didn't read that warning, again, let me reiterate, do not watch this video if you are faint of heart. This video does contain some shocking footage. It's potentially triggering to PTSD victims. This is for medical, educational purposes only. We would never glorify this for any reason. This is a pretty unfortunate accident, but we are ready to go over the footage together and see what we can learn from it, talk about safety, talk about our plans for the future. And there is a chance that some of this is still going to be censored. We're not sure at the time of recording how much will be censored, but we want to keep our channel. And if we put up too much graphic content, there's a chance the entire channel gets demonetized. And because of that, if you do see some censored content, that's why the entire unedited, uncensored footage will be available on Patreon if that's the case. That's pretty much the only way we can do this while still keeping our channel. So our link to Patreon will be in the description below, and you can go watch it there. But again, do not watch it if you can't handle this, because it is very shocking. He's okay with showing the footage that's here. He wants to watch it. He wants to show you guys so we can learn from it. So Adam is back and thankfully recovering.
I have returned indeed.
He has. You said one like and I'll come back, and here you are.
Yes, I did get at least one. It might have been me. I'm not sure.
How would you say you're doing now?
A lot better. Still takes a lot of wound care. I don't think I'm out of the woods on that yet. Probably still got a solid few months on that. The nerve stuff, never know. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. People have seen the footage, but it's been blurred.
Right.
We've done some updates on the hospital and everything, but before we watch it, if you don't know what's going on right now, stop watching this. Our last video has all of the context. We were firing different launchers. We had a Carl Gustav M2 launcher and the RPG-7.
Yep.
And we had a catastrophic failure during launching basically the final shot of the day.
Of course.
So yeah, if you don't know what's going on, please go watch our last episode and then return if you feel like you can handle watching what happened.
We were studying the effects of the backblast from RPGs because they are extremely dangerous.
As we saw with the ballistic hand.
Yeah, and then as we were doing it to a head, I remember counting down to 1, and then next thing I knew, I was on the ground and my arms were entirely black. These aren't sleeves, these are all bandages. They used to be all the way up, but this one's healing pretty good. The rocket launcher basically exploded.
I've unfortunately seen this footage several times. I had to save all the footage and, you know, edit it and prepare all these clips for you, but you've seen nothing other than your memories of like the aftermath.
And then the same censored one that is in the previous episode. Yep.
Correct.
I also, for you guys, I haven't seen any of my gear. I've seen the launcher because we got it demilled and sent to us, and I've put it back in the configuration that it was found on the ground. So when we get to the launcher, that's exactly how it was.
All right, so I already know what to expect with this, and it's already making my heart kind of go. So I'm mostly curious how this is going to go for you. You've been deployed, you've seen stuff before, but it's going to be different when it's you and you're watching it.
And when we were in Texas, I talked to Scott from Kentucky Ballistic, who went through something very similar, and he kind of warned me of that too.
All right,
so I guess we'll see. What's this going to be first? Like, is this slow-mo? Is this normal speed?
This is the normal footage from the red camera, which is our main normal angle. And you'll hear your countdown as you remember, and it'll happen. And then from there, you know, we can talk about this shot however much you want, however many times you want to see it, and then we can move on to high speed. And yeah, so
all right,
we'll just see what we can do as far as what we can learn from this. This is the 3, 2, 1 word.
Okay. All right.
Final warning.
Let's do it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Shit.
Call 911.
And here comes all the
Oh,
swear
fuck.
words in the response.
Oh shit, what do we do?
What's bleeding?
It's his face.
Call 911.
I'll call it.
I don't know if you can see there, but like my body was already like tremoring. And
Holy shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can already see. I've got skin grafts right there.
yeah. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that rocked my shit.
You want me to pull it back?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get into some of this in the high speed, but I mean, you're inside an explosion for an instant, and it throws you.
There isn't a second of that I could see on that first one where there was no attempt to catch myself. I'm instantaneously out. Like,
you're done. Like, you are immediately unconscious as far as I can tell.
that was nuts. All right.
You want to see it again?
Yep.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Dude, I can't even see my helmet leave frame.
I know.
Shit.
Call 911.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. What do we do?
What's bleeding?
It's his
Another
face.
thing I want to point out while I'm thinking about it. So when people experience trauma, in terms like blunt force trauma, it's not uncommon for your body to seize up in whatever position it was in. Something that happened to you, you can see it right here, like your right hand that was grasping that front handle there, clamped up in that way. So when you're laying there, keep in mind this camera was way off further left than we were. So it can see your fingers there, we couldn't. So one of the things what we saw was your burnt arm and then nothing.
Oh.
So there was all sorts of things of like, did this happen, did that happen kind of thing.
3, 2, 1.
I am so glad that he was wearing the stuff that he
Shit.
was.
That's when you start gaining
Oh,
consciousness.
You give
fuck.
him the protection.
So I would say
shit,
probably
what do we
10,
do?
15 seconds you were
It's
unconscious.
his face.
Do you have recollection of that at all? Of like,
No, not yet.
Okay.
Nope.
because the first thing I saw when like my eyes met your face was your jaw definitely got like shoved somewhere it's not supposed to be. The lower part of this part of your jaw had like moved out and it was pushing your skin out some, and the bottom part of your jaw, what's that bone there? Is that the mandible?
I think so.
Okay, that the whole bottom part of your face was a bit sideways. And then seeing all the burns and thinking for a second maybe you lost your.
This is why boxers often fall with their arms frozen up in the air too. Yeah. That lock up in the position. Hi.
Hand and the smoke and just like the shock setting in, it was like, what actually happened here?
I mean, the launcher looks like it left too.
Oh, it went up.
That,
It went up.
that's
in the
not
air.
where I was. I was, yeah.
Yeah, it launched.
What's happening?
We're calling 911.
For what?
We're calling 911.
For what?
You're bleeding.
From where?
You're bleeding from inside your
He's
head.
doing the right thing there, holding me down.
Yep.
Jeez.
Do you have memory of this?
I don't think yet.
So you just turned off your own mic there accidentally, and then it
Okay.
comes back on later. But what's interesting here is your brain knows something's wrong, obviously.
Right.
And I think the first thing that kicks in for you with your medical training is figure out what's wrong and help. And it's weird because you're the person that needs the help.
Right.
So you're asking like what happened, and then when Todd says we're calling 911, you're asking like what for, like why. So I don't know if that's like your brain's shock and confusion, or if your brain is still trying to figure out like who do we need to help, like what's going on. Like,
Probably
do you
just
remember
more-
asking those questions?
No.
Okay.
Nope. What is all that smoke from?
Fire extinguisher.
Oh,
The back
okay.
blast set off a small fire behind you.
Okay. Did I just ask if it blew up?
Is that what you asked?
I think so.
What happened? It blew up?
But I said it all jacked up because my jaw was crooked.
Is it weird seeing yourself like?
It's very
It's
weird.
like it's a memory that doesn't exist for you, but it's you.
Yeah, I don't remember any of this.
Okay. Because you're about to see one of the first memories that you've told me about, which is talking about the medical bag. and
Yeah.
what to get out of it. That's coming up soon. So it's probably, let's see, it's been over 2 minutes since it happened.
Oh,
So
wow.
that much of your memories, at least right
Dang.
now, doesn't exist.
In my truck.
First aid is in this truck. We have
Okay.
first aid.
Is that where your memory comes back? No?
Inside
the
the
trauma's gonna be on his right side, right here. Where my
inside
hand
the
was.
big
That's where the
bucket.
blast was.
there's a wall.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
So your memory took 3.5 minutes to come back.
Good grief. Oh, you can't see it. I'm digging. Okay. Because I remember digging in the bag.
Just off
it's just
camera?
off camera. Okay.
Yeah. This has to be surreal for you because you never saw at least your face from an outside perspective
No.
until you were like in the hospital.
In the trauma bay, yeah.
But for a while there, that laceration in your face was bleeding so much it was down on your neck. And I think that was confusing some people. They thought your neck was bleeding. So they were applying pressure there first until it was more obvious it was coming from your cheek.
Gotcha.
I don't have any medical allergies.
Okay. Any heart things they need to know about?
Nope, no
Okay.
heart conditions, no medical allergies. I'm probably dehydrated.
Okay. They're probably going to give you saline immediately.
They're gonna saline IV when they get here.
Is my right arm burned?
My right arm.
That shouldn't be funny.
Okay, is there more of that? The big ones? So this
I'm
is
so
when we
sorry.
start smearing all the stuff all over you, applying these pads. And
About this time was, I think my brain kind of went, okay, like someone else is doing the things that I was wanting to get done, and then I don't remember
Kinda
much
drifted
after that.
off.
Yep. But you said I stayed up and talked, and
yeah. So about this is when I thought I should probably turn off the cameras because it didn't feel like the right thing to do. And then later I went and turned the camera back on because I'm like, this should probably be documented.
okay.
But was it on high speed?
I don't even know or care.
Or care.
There is a little bit more of later on. This is you being treated.
Oh, okay. So we got like actual. Looks like law enforcement showed up first, and then.
Do you remember this? Sitting there and talking to officers?
Nope. After the like kind of first aid stuff, I don't remember anything until the helicopter.
Okay. So yeah, they kind of just look you over until the helicopter gets there, make sure you're covered up, and this shot isn't as slow as we normally do. For this, we had the flex camera, 3,000 frames a second to see everything, and then the 2512 is like close in on like this area.
Okay.
So this isn't going to give us like hyper detail, but it's still, we're going to see something.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Shit.
Yep.
oh my gosh.
It's like a war movie shot. Like it's one of those things you can't fake, basically. It's
Michael Bay eats your heart out. Yeah, look, there's the plate.
Yeah, let me wind that back.
Holy shit. So, it started normal.
Yeah.
I mean, rocket's moving, we can see some propulsion coming, so it didn't instantaneously malfunction. Like, oh my god.
This is the first glimpse of it going off.
Yeah, look, it's like bulging. And look at all that fight. Like, I don't have a beard now, but they shaved that off.
Yeah. No,
I lost almost no hair.
You had basically your full facial hair intact, and I was very surprised because, like,
in
look,
the hell?
like you're in flames for a while. If you saw this footage and didn't have any context, would you not have thought like that would kill a person?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's no wonder all the doctors told me they thought I should be dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's worth saying, like, your helmet got blown off of you, your eye protection got blown off of you, your plate carrier vest unfolded, your plate flew out, your bracelet got thrown off.
Never did find that. So the helmet, you can see I don't have it strapped. I didn't like buckle my chin strap, but that one has a headband retention. It tightens like a hard hat.
Okay.
So I mean, it was tensioned to my head. It wasn't just like plopped on there with nothing holding it on. It was tensioned. Oh man, that launcher went high.
Yeah. And it's like actively flaming out of the failure point.
And then just absolutely ragdoll.
You can tell you were unconscious because you're not grimacing. Like,
yeah,
you're just falling. So about 2 to 3 milliseconds you were engulfed in like raw explosive flames, which isn't a long time in terms of footage, but that's all it takes.
But if you think of the injury list that I listed, TBI, a traumatic brain injury, a temporal skull fracture causing a brain bleed, cheekbone was broken in 2 places, my jaw may have been like dislocated or misaligned, a laceration to my cheek, anywhere from 10 to 15% of my upper extremities were 3rd-degree burns requiring skin grafts, small fragmentations throughout.
It all happened in 2 to 3 milliseconds.
That's
I
incredible.
mean, you can even see the first frame that you start to get hit, like it contacting your shoulder and wrapping around your hand. Like this right here is the last millisecond of you unharmed.
Right.
And then the next millisecond, you're already being harmed right there.
That's nuts.
Like even here, your body doesn't know it's happened yet.
Nope.
Nobody knows it's happened yet, even if they were watching it with their eyes. So the big question is, what caused this? And I think the main things that we can rule out that people wondered about was, A, did the ballistic head prevent it from venting quickly enough to cause it? So if we go back to the first high-speed angle here, by the time the blast is hitting the dummy in the head, it's already exploding. Right. So it's just now touching the dummy, and the entire rest of the launcher is already
it's
exploding.
already gone. Yeah.
So we can at least rule that out. The other thing is...
Some people had talked about the smoke around the trigger pack.
Yeah. In order to reactivate it, you have to basically drill or mill out that previously welded in rod, put your own firing pin in, and kind of weld that in place.
Yep.
So
new trigger pack.
There's always a chance that it's not perfectly sealed and you'll get a little bit of smoke venting out. So in no way does that contribute to the failure. There are sometimes places that smoke will vent out.
I was wrong.
It's moving, so that
sounds
wasn't
like
jammed in there.
Right, no, it wasn't jammed at all. Kind of proper procedure for these launchers is that you should clean them pretty often. So RPGs that'll fail out in the field are ones that have been fired so many times they get gunked up on the inside. There's metal fatigue that happens over time.
Okay.
So that's a normal thing that can happen, but it wasn't the case here. I think we cleaned it.
Hi, Blue
both,
Kitty.
like actual solvent cleaners and the cleaning rod every 3 shots. So it's worth mentioning a little bit more specifically about how RPG launchers are reactivated by different companies. In our case, they went in and did the re-weld. Then they also pressure test it and x-ray the welds to, check that they are good, high quality welds. And then the inside of the tube is then re-sleeved with basically another metal tube inside of it. So basically this launcher is about as good as it gets when it comes to reactivated launchers. However, a weld is still a weld, and that means that around the weld is a little bit more brittle than an actual completely new tube. So there's a very small inherent risk in working with welds. So even after pressure testing it, x-raying the welds, re-sleeving it, there are still things that can go wrong. It might be worth talking about the booster itself a little bit more. So basically, all boosters, depending on the length, the size, they're always separated by sequential charges. I think it's usually separated by wood or cardboard. The firing pin comes in through here and it initiates the first part of the blast. So it's by sequentially, sort of like a firework, sequentially moving through these different stages of the booster, that's what allows it to launch.
Okay.
And so
build pressure in this chamber while it goes down the...
Yeah, so it's moving itself while it's moving through fuel, essentially. So in our case, a normal black powder booster might have 6 sequential charges in it that allows it to launch. There are longer ones that might have 8 charges or 12 charges. Basically, however much mass you need to move or how far you want the rocket to go could dictate how long of a booster you need. In our case, our warheads were CNC machined real metal warheads instead of the thinner stamped or even printed rocket heads. So for the lighter ones, you might only need a short booster. In our case, we had a longer booster. So after examining all of the high-speed footage, after looking over the inside of the launcher, what basically happened here was the beginning part of the booster failed, which cascaded into the rest of the booster. A properly reactivated, high-quality launcher should still be able to handle that. However, there is now the chance that if part of the booster detaches from the rocket as it is moving out of the front of the launcher, it can then butt up against and even seal the venturi part of the tube. And what that means is there is no longer anywhere for a lot of that pressure to go. And it all builds up at once, caused an immense amount of pressure. And the first place for that pressure to vent was the weld points. And that caused it to vent downward and into Adam's arm, his chest, basically all over his upper body. The weld acted as a release point by it failing. If it had not failed, this could have become like other videos on the internet where the launcher completely grenades. If you look closely at the failure, it's not the weld itself, which is usually almost a perfect rectangle that's cut into it. It is around the weld where the metal inherently becomes slightly more brittle. And they try to make up for this by re-sleeving it, but when you're dealing with this much pressure in such a short amount of time, and it can no longer vent through the venturi as it's supposed to, that's a lot of pressure.
And I had quite a bit of downtime in the hospital. I Googled around, and if you go to enough websites, I saw some other RPG failures that looked a lot like that. And then as you can see, somebody, not me, found as many pieces of the...
You weren't crawling around finding this stuff?
Found as much of the furniture as they could.
Some of this got splintered into oblivion, but I mean, it's about how that stuff works. So it's one of those things where high-speed footage gives us a decent glimpse at what happened, but it's only going to be educated guesses. And
Yeah,
this is based on all of the footage we've looked at, different people we've talked to. This is our best educated guess, and I feel like that's probably what happened.
I think so.
Do you want to look at your equipment you were wearing?
Oh, absolutely.
Before they move on to that, I remember this story. It was bad. A lot of burns. This, hi, all new people. This was bad. Man, this is gonna tell you something about some of what I seen. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Totally wrong on my guess on RPG launcher being the cause. Holy crap, the good fortune of that failing, though, the way it did instead of worse. Holy crap.
I already see a lot going on here.
Yeah. So this is basically everything that helped protect your life.
Yep.
And just because of how production works sometimes, we already filmed multiple episodes with high explosive rockets beforehand.
Yep.
So it just happened to be that production worked out that way. And you'll see a lot of our safety in those other videos. We didn't even shoot the things off our shoulders. We had them mounted to something with a pull string.
Yeah, neither of us actually fired a higher explosive rocket.
Not once. So we were about as safe as possible as you can be while still getting to at least fire a rocket once or twice. And the accident still happened. So I'm hoping this is a good reminder to anybody that works with firearms, explosives, any of this stuff, that no matter how safe you try to be consciously, there's always a risk of something going wrong. And it's not even something you may have overlooked. It's just like when you buy ammunition, there might be a bullet that is loaded a bit too much, or a firework that had a little bit too much powder in it, or whatever it might be.
In the episode that we released, we talked about using prototype rounds. None of the RPG-7s were prototype rounds. We were discussing the Carl Gustav rounds.
Yes.
And even then, I probably shouldn't have used the term prototype.
Yeah.
They had been tested numerous times already. So those weren't things that we were just bringing out and firing for the first
The only thing they did not have yet was the way the casing vents out the back to make it recoilless. Everything else was proper.
I think there's like a different fuse because there was a little bit of a delay between the two. But so none of the RPG stuff was prototype. That was all very standard.
Especially the boosters. Boosters are like the same boosters you'd use for any test.
Right, yeah.
Todd, who's been in this industry for a long time, he gave us like the best chance at success at this. It was his launcher. Nothing about his launcher caused this failure, which I think is important to point out. It's just like a gun. Like, you give it the wrong ammo, it's not the gun's fault. Right. We gave it a booster that ended up failing, and
Yep, and I still talk to Todd daily.
Yep.
We're still friends. He has decided to leave the industry. He did a lot of machine gun rentals and then launcher stuff. Being there, it affects people different ways in seeing things like that. I mean, you've kind of talked to me about, it's like, it can be difficult. I mean, and so he discussed it with his family, and between himself and his family, they decided to get out of the business.
That isn't guilt. We need to point that out.
Right, yes. Nope, it was just a decision that they made. So you will notice he closed down all of his social medias and his website and everything. We had a few people point that out to us. We're aware.
Yep.
He told us he was doing it.
That is his way of handling what is essentially a bit of mental trauma from this.
Right.
That is his way of handling it. That's a totally personal thing, and we're going to let him do that. That's what he needs to do. We all handle it differently, and that was his method. Yeah, Todd's still a good friend of ours.
Absolutely.
So please don't think that him doing that stuff was in any way guilt on his part, because I mean, it'd be like if I didn't post this video just because that was my way of handling it. That's not guilt. That's just, it's different when you see videos on the internet of accidents and stuff. When it's your friend right in front of you, it's different. So just have some respect, and just give people space when they need it, I would say.
Yeah. So as you guys can see, we're back at the range. We have a few high explosive rocket episodes still coming out. Thankfully, we're filmed before the accident.
Yep.
So we still have some content to come, but
Okay, before they get going, thank you for the follow, Damon Virus. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
We are ready to move forward, and as a way that you guys could support us moving forward, a way to support his healing and medical bills, things like that, we have a new line of merchandise that just came out. And if you guys want to buy that, that is a great way to directly support him and get something back in return to show your support for the channel.
Absolutely. Yep, it's over on Bunker Branding. We got picked up. We get to work with those guys. Great group of people.
That'll
over
be
there.
fun, yeah.
Once you head over there, or maybe you're going to flash it on the screen, you'll see that you can get our classic stuff.
Yep.
And then also, in good fashion, I made a meme shirt. And before anybody freaks out,
As they do in the gun industry.
it was my idea. This isn't, you know, like anybody taking advantage of the situation.
Oh, no.
I came up with it. Bryce made it a reality, but it was my idea because this isn't going to stop me. I'm back. We're going to go full tilt. I mean, I've still got, you know, a little bit of a limp and things, but
Yeah, we'll take things slow.
We're not done. We believe in this channel. We think it's doing extremely well. All thanks to everybody that hits that subscribe button and sticks around.
There's been an immeasurable amount of positive support lately
Yeah.
for you. We pretty well believe that we have found our core audience of people that enjoy our content and believe in us. We believe in us too, so that means a lot to us. So we're going to keep moving forward, and Patreon is a great way to support us. That's going to start getting some exclusive content over there. This entire episode is going to go into more detail, basically an extended cut of going into more detail on your armor and stuff, what that went through, a little bit more detail about your injuries, even an exclusive angle of the high speed in that cut. So there's another shot, 100,000 frames a second, that hasn't been shown in this one. We just wanted to make sure this video could get up, explain to you all exactly what happened, at least to the best of our knowledge, and then just move forward. Bring the next couple months are going to have some pretty wild episodes, so if you guys would not mind subscribing now, you're going to get some excellent content coming well into 2024.
We try to keep things kind of clean and professional on this main channel. If you want to see us a little bit more uncensored, go check out the Unsubscribed podcast. We had some beers with the boys and we kind of let some jokes fly.
They're awesome people. So. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Head over to Unsubscribe. Consider supporting us on Patreon for extra content, and consider supporting us with merchandise. I think that new shirt's going to be really cool.
I think the shirt's cool. I really like the sticker too.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you very soon.
Yeah, I'm super glad that he is okay as well. I mean, I do not mean in any way to downplay what happened, because that is still very horrifying and very terrifying. But I did think it was going to be worse, which is more talking about what the explosives are capable of, and just how lucky he was that it failed in the way it does, and any kind of downplaying or anything. Because, I mean, he was still in an explosion. That's still a horrifying thing to experience and have to go through. Just, holy crap. Similar failure happened to Kentucky. Yep, I am familiar with the Kentucky Ballistics 50 cal explosion. I was not doing a lot of these reaction type stuff at the time. I just watched it myself, listen to him talk through that and that stuff. So glad that he's that both of them are okay, I guess, if we're bringing that up. That is one heck of a situation for what happened there. Yeah, holy crap. I wasn't doing any, I was obviously trying to not pause on any of those certain frames, and trying to not do any rewinding to rewatch and get a better look. I will be doing that after, not on stream, after. Yeah, holy crap. There's both situations could have been a lot worse. Thankfully not that. Yeah, I mean, there's an enormous amount of luck and good fortune in surviving what happened there. if he wasn't wearing that helmet, I can't imagine what what could have happened there without the helmet. Yeah, that's maybe that is stirring a little bit of a past experience from me. Holy smokes, though. It took a while to figure out I have my fluffy tail back. Yeah, ballistic high speeds. Dude, I am so glad you're okay. I will be binging your stuff later. You guys let me know. I've got a bit of a backlog for reaction stuff. I usually try to not do too much in a stream, but you guys let me know if there's stuff that should be saved. Saved for that. There's also a media suggest in Pangea. So, yeah. Holy crap. Very glad. Very, very glad that he's recovering. I don't want to say okay. I really don't want to say okay, but that he's recovering. No. Those are also several month-old videos we saw in the Brandon Herrera videos, all in much better shape already. So we kind of knew going in he got better in a good way, and that he was able to crack some jokes about rockets. But man, that does put those jokes into context. That really puts those jokes into context. I don't think I can add much else substantive there. Not that my additions were all that substantive to begin with, I think. But yeah, good luck, and I'm glad you guys are doing better. Glad you're doing better. Hope that you continue to recover quickly. Holy smokes.